Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is UCD Videos. How you guys doing? So today we're doing something a little bit different. This isn't a review of a video game or toy or anything like that. Instead, today we're reviewing a Blu-ray set, and this is the Godzilla Showa Era films Blu-ray special edition set from the Criterion collection. So those of you who have watched my videos across my various channels know that I'm a massively gigantic Godzilla fan. I love this stuff. I've seen all the movies, I've just been into it since I was a kid. And I was very, very happy to see that this was a thing that was coming out, because Godzilla films on DVD and Blu-ray they tend to be very expensive. They come out, they're usually out only for a little while, and if you don't get them, then they shoot up in price. Some of them are really expensive. Godzilla vs. Biollante, for example. And so I was really, really happy to get this as a collection altogether, because finding especially the Showa era films on Blu-ray with decent prints, not that easy, you know. And a lot of times you'll get them and they'll be like the cropped TV versions that are all dubbed and crappy looking. And, you know, finding the films with a good print that has the original Japanese language with subtitles can cost a lot of money. So I was very, very happy to get this. I mean, this thing wasn't cheap. I think it was around $180, right? Which is, yeah, you know, but, you know, you're getting like 13 films, so it's like, you know, it's freaking, I don't know, I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, if you break it down per movie, you know, if you think usually a Blu-ray of any given new release will be around $20, like, you're actually coming out ahead. So one thing I wasn't expecting was this to be so large. It's not really the size of a standard DVD Blu-ray collector's set. You know, this is actually a book. It's actually really huge, and I have the camera zoomed way out because it's pretty big. And just to kind of show you how big it is, here's a standard DVD case, right? This is actually Quartermass in the Pit, pretty good movie. Anyway, but you can kind of see how large it is compared to a standard DVD size case, right? So you're not going to be displaying this on a shelf next to your other Godzilla movies. Which I was kind of disappointed, because I got all my other Godzilla movies. I have all the other ones, all of the Heisei era and Millennium era, all on Blu-ray, and I was kind of hoping to put this in there next to them. But I think for what we did get is pretty amazing. You get this like massively giant art book, right? Let me bring this up a little more. Look at this thing. I mean, this thing is just, it's gigantic. Okay, and it's going to be kind of a little awkward here, so forgive me if it, like, goes off of the camera or whatever, because I'm kind of doing this, like, you know, looking down at the camera and stuff, just because it's so big. It's hard to manipulate correctly, you know. But you got, like, this massively, you know, all this sort of, like, 50s, 60s era pop art kind of inspired stuff here, you know. You've got, like, these really cool articles talking about the history of Godzilla. You know, all the different monster movies and stuff, right? Pretty cool stuff. You have an article on each one, right? So we'll kind of go through. And some of the artwork in here is actually pretty badass. You know, one in particular that stands out to me is for this one right here by Arthur Adams, which, if you guys don't know who Arthur Adams is, he's, you know, pretty famous for illustrating Godzilla. He did a lot of the artwork for the official Godzilla Compendium back in the 90s and stuff, which for a lot of the young people out there nowadays, that's kind of their first introduction to Godzilla, right? So, pretty cool, you know. Each movie has their own little illustration, right? There's Godzilla vs. Mothra. You know, I'll try to get some of that glare off of there, sorry, but you can sort of see that, right? This is a little awkward trying to show this, because I'm like having to use one hand and shit. Just because it's so big, in order to get it into the frame, I gotta put it far away from the camera. Pretty cool stuff. Ghidorah, three-headed monster. We got Invasion of Asto Monster, where this is the one where Godzilla dances. I don't know if you guys ever seen that one. Ibria, Horror of the Deep. This was originally supposed to be a King Kong movie. They made it into Godzilla movie. So anyway, you get an illustration for, you know, Son of Godzilla. You get one for each movie. right? Which is pretty cool stuff. And you get a nice little article on the side talking about, you know, the making of the movie and that kind of thing, and the cast and the credits for each one, you know. This one I always thought was really cool too. This is by a guy named Takashi Ozaki, right? Which I'm sure he's famous. I don't know, I'll have to look him up, but I really like this guy's style here. Was kind of disappointed that we didn't get an illustration from Matt Frank, which I was like kind of hoping. I was like, oh shit. And as soon as I saw that there was an art book, I was like, I wonder if Matt Frank did something for it, but no, unfortunately not. Anyway, and then the actual Blu-rays are on a nice little splash page like this. So you have 8 different discs. Some of them have more than one movie on them, right? And one thing I was really happy to see with this, in fact the entire reason why I bought this was because it has the Japanese language version of King Kong vs. Godzilla, the original. So it actually has the American version on disc 2, and then the Japanese version is on the supplemental disc, disc 8, right? And I was really happy to see that, because that was like, you really, before this, couldn't buy that legally in the United States. The only versions you can get in the stores are the American versions, which, if anybody out there who doesn't know this, it's like a kind of a different movie. It's all chopped up and interspliced with new footage and stuff in order to make it appeal to American audiences in 1963, right? So, like, something like 60% of the movie is like new footage shot by the American producers. It's really a lot different than the Japanese counterpart. And the Japanese counterpart, in my opinion, is actually the far superior film. So I was actually kind of happy to get that. And when I first opened this, I went and I looked at the disc, and I was like, wait a minute, it's not on here, right? And it's like, holy shit, did they not include it? But no, it's on that disc. So that was actually kind of awesome. And then we'll just take a look at the back here. It has this sort of thing stuck to it with, like, you know, gum, right? That sort of gum glue. So I think I'm going to leave that on there, you know, because this is just part of the illustration on the front. But, you know, talking about all the different stuff and all the different things that are in here, you know, you get trailers, you get new subtitle translations, you get interviews. There's on the supplemental disc, you get a couple of documentaries talking about Toho and special effects and different things. Like, apparently, like, there's this huge pool that they built at the Toho lot in order to film a bunch of this stuff in, you know, and it was, like, at the time the largest, like, you know, set pool ever. Right, interviews with different filmmakers, right, and it's actually really cool. And then so far I've only had a chance to watch a couple of the movies, but the transfer is great, you know, the prints are great, it looks good, it sounds good. So it was a little pricey, you know, but hey, stuff like this, for what you're getting, it's actually a really good deal. I actually got in on the pre-order for this. I wanted to get it, like, immediately, right? So, yeah, you know, I was thinking of doing an unboxing for this thing, but I couldn't wait, you know. I had to open it up and check it out before I made a video here. So, anyway, highly recommend this for any Godzilla fans out there. You know, get it while you can. Adios, folks.